Is it possible to walk too much? I believe the answer is absolutely yes. And in this video, I'm going to talk about 5 consequences of walking too much. And number 5, in my opinion, is the worst, potentially, literally, even a killer. Hi, I'm Dave. I'm not a doctor. Nothing in this video should be taken as specific medical advice for you. Instead, I'm a guy who loves walking, and to help you fall in love with walking, I do a daily audio podcast, Walking is Fitness. Every day there's a brand new 10-minute episode designed to provide you with a little added motivation to get out the door and take the walk. And to make it fun, every episode is recorded while I'm out walking. So as you're listening, it's kind of like we're taking a walk together. So before we get into the 5 consequences of walking too much, let's talk about the benefits of walking. A consistent habit of walking can lower the risk of an early death. And it can lower the risk of those things that could lead to an early death, like heart disease. We're talking heart attack, stroke. A consistent habit of walking can also lower the risk of certain cancers. It can lower the risk of type 2 diabetes, dementia, and more. A habit of walking can literally change your life. But can you walk too much? Yeah, you can. So number 1, and this is more of a mindset. So the sweet spot for the number of steps for those risk reductions, those long-term health benefits, is around 7,500 steps. They have found, with one exception, that most of those risk reductions begin to plateau after 7,500 steps. So if you're wired kind of like me, you can think, all right, so I'm walking 7,500 steps for this amount of risk reduction for these bad health outcomes. If I walk 15,000 steps, I'm going to double the risk reduction. Yeah, it actually doesn't work that way. So the exception is dementia. They have discovered that the risk reduction actually doesn't start at 7,500 steps. It begins to plateau at about 10,000 steps. But again, if you're thinking, like I would be thinking, all right, I'll walk 20,000 steps and double the benefit. Yeah, it doesn't quite work that way. So from a mindset perspective, there is a limit on how much health, long-term health benefits you can get, and walking more than that really isn't going to increase those long-term health benefits by much. So that's number 1. Number 2, and this is actually a physical impact of walking too much: overuse injuries. Injuries to your feet, your ankles, stress fractures, shin splints, that sort of thing. Now, this is more common for those who are runners, but walkers can also have overuse injuries, where they're walking too much and creating physical situations that are not good. And typically what happens, and I'm guilty of this, you start feeling sore, you start feeling pain, and what do? You just keep pushing through. Well, that can actually be, in some cases, the worst thing you can do. If you are experiencing soreness, pain, please go see a medical professional. Don't just push through, because pushing through can exasperate those injuries, those overuse injuries. The experts actually say that there are the terrible twos: too much, too soon, too little rest. You can do too much. You can ramp it up too soon after getting started, and not understanding the importance of rest, too little rest. And that can actually lead to overuse injuries. That's number 2. Number 3, you can probably hear we've got, this is so cool. It's the Fife and Drum Corps here in Colonial Williamsburg, and might get a little bit louder, but we're gonna pass. I'm gonna switch hands here so you can see them as they go past. Number 3 is actually a little bit controversial. Not everyone agrees with this. Not every expert agrees with this, but I tend to think it's true because I've experienced it. And that is, too much walking might suppress the immune system. All right, here we go. That's so cool. Now we've got a large group of people who are following. Some experts say there's not enough research behind this, but others say there's enough to at least issue a caution that too much exercise can actually suppress the immune system. Now, please understand, we're not talking about any exercise, because just about all the experts say that exercise is one of those things that can actually boost the immune system. We're talking about too much, walking too much. So in 2008, I ran my first half marathon. I understand here we're talking about running versus walking, but the implication is the same. I ran my first half marathon, and the day after I was sore, that was expected. 3 days after I crossed that finish line, I got a raging cold. It shocked me, it surprised me, because I figured at this point my immune system was going to be as strong as it would ever be because of all the exercise, all the running that I did. Did a little bit of research, and that's when I learned that there are some who think that too much exercise can actually suppress the immune system. So can too much walking suppress the immune system? Some say, yeah, it's a possibility. Number 4, too much walking can lead to an obsession. A handful of years ago, Dr. Phil had a woman on his TV show, a woman named Liz, who was obsessed with getting 100,000 steps every day. Now, she was kind of doing a cross between walking and running. They showed video of what she was doing. It wasn't fast enough to be what I would call a run, but it was faster than just a casual walk. And she was just doing this around her coffee table. Get up at 3:30 in the morning, start walking, start doing this kind of run-walk thing to get 100,000 steps. So clearly that's an extreme case. That's an extreme example. Most of us aren't anywhere close to that. But I have at times noticed that there is a tendency to push myself, and I've had to set really clear guidelines that if my walking, or really any fitness activity, starts interfering with productive activity, work, and other things that I need to do, and even more importantly than that, starts impacting relationships, well then it's too much. Because walking is not the most important thing in my life. And then number 5, and I believe this is actually the most common and frankly the most insidious consequence of walking too much. Habits are hard to build and they're easy to lose. Habits need to be nurtured. They need to be coddled. They need to be protected. So a while back, I was probably getting close to what I would call a walking obsession. I kept pushing my daily goals higher and higher. And after a while, recognized that I wasn't enjoying this. What had been a get to was now becoming a have to. I had to get out and reach those goals. Here's the problem with that. When we push ourselves, when I push myself, and I take walking from an enjoyable activity to something that I have to do, I'm in danger of losing the habit. Because I've learned over the years, especially when it comes to exercise and fitness, if I'm not enjoying the activity, I don't want to do it. And when we start walking too much that we lose the enjoyment, we're in danger of losing the habit and ultimately, potentially, losing the benefits that come from a habit of walking. So, can you walk too much? In my opinion, the answer is yes. The answer, build the habit, find the fun, and don't lose it.